I used to think our marriage was coasting, not crashing, not flying, just gliding. Quiet skies, predictable weather. You make dinner, fold laundry, occasionally light a candle and pretend the routine still tastes like romance. Emily and I had been married 5 years. She's beautiful in that sharp, magnetic way, the kind of woman people remember even if she never says a word. She works in marketing, naturally, selling dreams for a living. And me? I work in IT, fixing things. People call me when their systems fall apart. You'd think I'd see the signs in my own life. Then came that night. We'd spent the evening on the couch. Netflix, half a bottle of wine, the usual. She reached for my hand halfway through some forgettable movie, and I thought, hey, maybe we're trying again. Later, we ended up in bed. Nothing urgent, nothing passionate, just motion, contact. One of those quiet moments where you go through the steps, trying to find some kind of lost closeness. Her face was close to mine, her hand on my cheek, voice low, intentional. God, Ryan. Everything inside me locked. I pulled back slowly, looked her straight in the eye. What did you just say? She blinked. What? You called me Ryan. A beat, then another. She didn't flinch. She just smiled, like I'd imagined it. No, I didn't. Emily, I said, don't, I heard you. Her jaw tightened. Jake, you're overthinking this. You said it, plain as day, like it's not the first time you've thought it. Now her voice cooled just a few degrees. It was a name, a mistake. Don't make it more than that. A mistake, I repeated. Sure, just slipped out of your mouth by accident during a deeply personal moment. Totally normal. She sat up straighter, blanket wrapped around her like some kind of shield. You're twisting this. People say things. Names pop out. It doesn't mean I want him back. I never said you did, I said. But clearly he's still somewhere in there. And now I'm wondering how long he's been sharing my bed without me knowing. Emily looked away, didn't answer. And right there, in that silence, I felt something crack. Small, quiet, but permanent. After that night, something shifted, not just in how I looked at her, but in how I listened. I became an observer in my own home. Every movement, every pause, every glance from Emily suddenly carried weight, like I'd stumbled into a crime scene that was still warm, and everyone kept insisting it was just a living room. She started guarding her phone more, kept it screen down, notifications muted. Not that she'd ever been careless before, but now she was deliberate, practiced. One night, about a week after the Ryan incident, she was in the kitchen on a call. I was in the hallway, on my way to grab laundry from the dryer when I heard her voice. Soft, low, the kind of voice you use when you think no one's listening, or when you hope they aren't. No, I haven't told him. Of course not. Pause, a laugh, short, nervous. I mean, sometimes I still imagine Ryan when we're together. I know it's messed up, Rachel. I know, but it's like I don't even control it. It just happens. Another pause. Don't say that. I do love Jake. It's not that simple. That was the part that really got me. It's not that simple. Like loyalty was a riddle. I didn't move, didn't breathe. I just stood there behind the wall, listening to my wife tell someone else that our most personal moments, the ones I thought were ours, were borrowed space, haunted by a man who wasn't me. And she hadn't told me. Not the truth, just a soft, deflecting lie. You're overthinking it. Turns out I was underthinking it. She hung up a minute later. I slipped back to the living room, pretending I was just checking something on my laptop. When she walked in, I smiled. She smiled back. Fake meeting fake. I sat there wondering how many other moments we'd faked, how many times I'd mistaken her silence for peace, her touch for love, her name for mine. It took me 3 days to say anything, 3 days of pretending I didn't know that I was just a placeholder in my own marriage, that our moments weren't ours, that Ryan, the name she swore was just history, was very much alive and living rent-free in her imagination. She had no idea I'd heard the call, No idea I'd memorized every word she said to Rachel like it was some kind of scripture. Every smile she gave me after that felt like a con. So I waited. Then I picked a night. Quiet. Casual. The kind of night people in love are supposed to enjoy. Tacos, background music, a glass of wine. She was rinsing plates when I said, "Do you still think about him?" She turned. "What?" "Ryan." The air in the room turned thick. Her hand hovered over the faucet. Still running. "I told you it was just a name. You misheard me." "I didn't mishear you, Emily. And I didn't mishear the phone call either." Her body went still. Plate in hand. Water pouring down like a slow leak in a sinking ship. I leaned on the counter, arms crossed. "Rachel, Tuesday night, you said you still imagine him when we're together." She didn't deny it. Didn't even blink. Just set the plate down. Turned off the tap. "You were listening," she said. "That's what you're focusing on?" She paused, jaw flexing. It was a private conversation. "Yeah, about me, about us, about how the man you married isn't the man you picture when you close your eyes." "Jake, no more gaslighting, no more, you're overthinking it. I've been underthinking it for 5 goddamn years." Her shoulders slumped. She looked tired, not guilty, just worn. "I didn't mean to hurt you." "That's the funny thing about betrayal," I said. "No one ever means it. They just do it anyway." She stepped forward, reaching out. "I love you." I took a step back. "You love an idea of me. The version that doesn't notice. The version that lets you keep your ghosts." Silence. The kind that doesn't just sit in the room. It builds a home there. Finally, she said, almost whispering, "I didn't sleep with him." And you know what? For a second, I almost believed that was the important part. I didn't go looking for proof because I wanted to be right. I went looking because I wanted to be wrong. Because some part of me, desperate and pathetic, still hoped I'd find nothing. Just an empty inbox, a clean screen, something that would let me say, "See? You're just paranoid. You're broken, not her." But if you're digging, it's because part of you already knows what you're going to find. Emily had gotten more careful since the night I confronted her. No more slip-ups. No more wrong names. She smiled a little more, touched me a little more, like someone wiping fingerprints off a scene before the police show up. But I noticed the way she checked her phone when she thought I wasn't watching, the way she carried it from room to room like it was breathing. She used to forget it on the charger for hours. Now it never left her side. If that wasn't a sign, I didn't know what was. It happened on a Sunday. She was folding laundry in the bedroom, humming to herself like everything was fine. Her phone was in the bathroom, plugged in. She made the mistake of leaving her phone unattended. My hands moved before my brain did. 4 digits, our wedding date. Still worked. Maybe she hadn't changed it. Maybe she didn't think I had it in me. The first thing I saw was a thread pinned to the top of her messages. Ryan Carter. No emojis, no fake name like Jen from work, just his full name, like a trophy on a shelf. I opened it, and there it was, a timeline of betrayal. Weeks, maybe months, of messages. Some short, some long. Some stupid, like, "Remember that awful Thai place," followed by laughing emojis. Others, intimate. "Ryan, tell your husband I said thanks for sharing." "Emily, you're such an ass." "But yeah, he still kisses me goodnight like nothing's wrong." "Ryan, because he doesn't know your lips were on me 2 hours earlier." "Emily, shut up. I'm already smiling like an idiot at dinner." Every word was a nail in the coffin of my sanity. My stomach turned. I wanted to scream, or smash something, or throw her phone against the wall and let the pieces spell out the truth she refused to say out loud. But instead, I stood there, completely still. Because what do you do when you find out you're not the person someone saves? Just the one they settled for? She walked past the bathroom at one point, didn't even look inside. I had just enough time to put her phone down, unplug it, and step back like nothing had happened. I sat on the edge of the tub, staring at the floor. My brain went quiet in that terrifying way it does right before something breaks. No rage, no sobbing, just clarity. This wasn't an accident. It wasn't a mistake. It was a choice, made over and over again, with every text, every secret, every moment she looked me in the eyes and lied. That night I didn't sleep. I watched her from across the bed, wondering how I ever thought I knew her, wondering if she'd ever loved me or if I was just the safe bet she clung to after Ryan flaked out the first time. She turned in her sleep, muttering something, pulling the blanket closer. I didn't move, because in that moment, I wasn't her husband anymore. I was just a man quietly preparing his exit. Morning came like nothing had happened. That's the thing about endings. They don't always come with lightning or screaming or doors slamming. Sometimes they arrive in the form of two people making coffee. Emily stood by the sink, humming to herself, pouring oat milk into her mug like she hadn't betrayed everything we ever built. She was wearing one of my t-shirts, a small, quiet insult I chose to ignore. She looked over her shoulder and smiled. "Want eggs?" "Already ate," I said. It was a lie. I hadn't eaten. My stomach had been locked in a vice grip since the moment I read those messages. I wasn't sure I'd ever be hungry again. She shrugged and turned back to the pan. I watched her move calmly, like I hadn't read with my own eyes how much better it was with him. Like I didn't know she was imagining someone else's hands when she touched me. Like I didn't see her type, "Miss your stupid face," while I was sitting 5 feet away folding laundry. She thought I didn't know. She thought she got away with it. That's when I realized she didn't just cheat on me. She underestimated me. I stood there for a long moment, watching her pretend to be normal before I finally spoke. "I went through your phone." She froze. The spatula in her hand hovered over the pan. She turned slowly, as if trying to buy a few more seconds of ignorance. "What? You left it in the bathroom." Her face shifted, from confusion to fear to defiance in under 3 seconds. "You had no right." "I had every right," I interrupted, calm, controlled. When you start sharing your body and mind with someone else, you forfeit your right to privacy. She looked like she might argue, might cry, might scream, but she just stood there. "I read everything, Emily. Every message, every little joke, every time you said he still made you feel alive, every line where you pretended this." I gestured around the kitchen. Wasn't enough. Tears welled in her eyes. Real ones, maybe. Or maybe rehearsed. "I didn't mean for it to go that far," she whispered. "That's the thing," I said. "It didn't go far. It went deep. Deeper than you think. Because I believed you. I trusted you. And you used that like a doormat." "I was confused," she said, stepping forward. "Jake, please, it didn't mean—" "Don't," I cut her off. "Don't insult me by saying it didn't mean anything. You don't text someone, 'It's still better with you,' unless it means everything." The silence in the kitchen was suffocating. She reached for me. I stepped back. "I'm leaving," I said. She blinked. "You're what?" "I'm packing a bag. I'll stay at a hotel until I figure out the next steps. Lawyers, paperwork, all of it. You're just walking away?" "You walked away first," I said. "I'm just catching up." The next hour passed without many words. She sat on the edge of the bed, crying quietly. I moved through the apartment like a guest, picking up shirts, chargers, my toothbrush. One small suitcase. When I zipped it shut, she finally looked up and said, "Is this really the end?" I met her eyes, the same ones I once thought I could drown in, and said, "It ended the moment I became a backup plan." Then I walked to the door. She didn't follow, didn't beg, didn't stop me. Outside the air was cool, sharp, real. I took a breath, the first honest one in months. There was no big explosion, no poetic collapse, just the quiet sound of a man choosing himself for once. And as I walked away, suitcase in hand, one thought echoed clearly in my mind. There was nothing left to fix, and for once I didn't feel broken. I felt free. The hotel room was small, but quiet. No framed wedding photos, no floral candles, no ghost in the sheets. Just silence and space to breathe. The first thing I did the next morning was Google divorce attorneys, not marriage counselors, not how to fix a relationship after betrayal. No more desperate optimism. I was done writing endings in pencil. I called a guy named Mark Leland, reputable, direct, voice like a bored professor. I liked that, no fluff. I want to file for divorce, I said. No kids, one property, she cheated, emotionally at least. He didn't ask for drama, just facts. He took notes, gave me a list of documents to gather, and said we could file as early as the end of the week. Efficient, clean, unforgiving, exactly what I needed. By Wednesday, Emily was texting again. Can we just talk, please? I made a mistake. I lost myself, but I never stopped loving you. I don't want to lose you too. I didn't respond. She tried calling, left voicemails. She even came to the hotel once, left a handwritten letter at the front desk, folded like we were teenagers again. Jake, you're not just my husband, you're my home. Ryan wasn't real, not anymore. You are. Please don't throw this away before we at least try. It might have worked on the old me, the me who bent backwards to keep things from breaking, who thought loyalty meant always staying, no matter how deeply you bled for it. But that version of me was gone, burned out of existence by every line of that chat thread. I sent her a single reply. The version of me you loved would have forgiven you. That version died when I read what you wrote him. She didn't text again for a while. Mark called the next day. She's been served. I nodded, even though he couldn't see me. Do you want to include grounds for infidelity in the filing? He asked. I thought for a second, then said, no, I don't need revenge. I just want out. It's been 37 days. I counted, not because I'm holding on, but because I finally stopped waiting. I moved into a small loft downtown. Brick walls, creaky floors, no memories. The mattress is on the floor. There are 2 mugs, 1 plate, and a half-dead plant I named Closure. Every now and then, I catch myself expecting to hear her laugh from the kitchen or find her hairband on the counter. But nothing's there. Just me. And air that doesn't lie. The silence is different now. Not the suffocating kind that filled our home in the final months. This one breathes. This silence makes room for me. Emily texted me once more, 2 weeks ago. Just a simple, I hope you're okay. I didn't reply. Not because I'm cruel, but because some doors close without slamming. They just lock quietly, forever. I don't hate her. I don't even wish her pain. I wish her truth. I wish her the strength to stop confusing longing with love. I hope Ryan turns out to be exactly what she thought he was, or exactly what she needs to finally let go. As for me, I get up early now. I go for walks. I started reading again. I listen to music without wondering if the lyrics are about us. I'm not healed, but I'm healing, and that's enough. Because I finally stopped asking what I could have done differently. Because I finally stopped mistaking love for sacrifice. Because I finally chose myself. And for the first time in a long time, the only name in my head is mine.